Welcome to Thursday, 7th September 2023. Good afternoon. This is Midday Live. In the bulletin, police service interdict COP George Alex Mensah and others over role in the leaked IGP tape. Also coming up, ECOWAS member states likely to miss the 2026 deadline of the convergence criteria for the single currency ECO. We'll bring you some international news as Gabon's military leaders free deposed President Ali Bongo from house arrest, where he has been since the seized power last week. Welcome to the program. My name is Noble Crosby, and we have details of these stories and a lot more coming to you in the next 60 minutes if you stay with us. We're starting off from some security news as the Director General of Operations of the Ghana Police Service, COP George Alex Mensah, and two other officers have been interdicted. The other officers are Superintendent Emmanuel Eric Jebi and Superintendent George. Now, this was contained in a police statement signed by the Director of Public Affairs of the police service, ACP Grace Ansa Akrofi. The statement added that the interdiction is to make way for disciplinary proceedings into their conduct in line with police service regulation. The three have been involved in the leaked audio recording about the current IGP, Dr. George Ekufu Dampare. An ad hoc parliamentary committee set up by the Speaker of Parliament has been probing the matter. Well, the interdiction of these three officers is beginning to raise some levels of concern, particularly in the context where we find ourselves, the probe of the leaked tape that is purportedly a plot to remove the Inspector General of Police. Let's speak with Dr. Adam Bona, who is a security analyst, for some perspectives and understanding on what is going on at the moment. Dr. Bona, thank you so much for joining us. Good afternoon to you. The interdiction of officers, this is not new, but at the time this is coming, it is beginning to raise some levels of suspicions and eyebrows in the public. From where you sit, how do you marry these two?
The general public will be right if they are concerned, because if you look at the despicable behavior of these officers who are supposed to be protecting everybody, plotting to oust one of their own in this reprehensible manner, and for the police service together with the police council to leave them in uniform for all this while, what I can say is that better late than never, but the very first day these leaked audios were televised, they should have been removed that same minute to pave way for, interrogations, investigations, and, so that they don't interfere with any portions of the investigation. But unfortunately, for some reasons, which I believe could be because the IGP is the one they heavily tilted towards and attempted to oust so that they can break the eight. It was difficult. So some of us said that looking at the, what is going on, it was important for the vice president to have conveyed, asked for a meeting of a sort to help all of us to be able to listen to what has taken place, and if possible, recommend that they are interdicted. And so I would say better late than never. But you know what? These people breached serious constitutional provisions. If you look at our Criminal Offences Act, Act 29, what they did could pass as what I call, what do you call that? I will call it, what's the name? High treason. And if you look at the Police Service Act itself, which they breached,
Right.
This is a major, issue that they should have been interdicted the very first day this issue came up. But better late than never. That is what I would say.
In the face of the current happenings, if the IGP sits on the police service board, what levels of confidence will it give these officers who have been interdicted over their roles they played in the leaked audio tape that is currently being investigated by the ad hoc committee? What confidence does it give them that an impartial investigation will be carried out if the person being mentioned in the tape sits on the board to review the case?
Well, the truth is that working closely with the security agencies, including the police, usually a panel is constituted to investigate whatever has taken place. If you have to face a service inquiry, you are free to come with your counsel or your lawyers, and your lawyers are there whilst, questions are put to you. And so you can answer or you might decide not to answer. But I must be very honest with you. Excuse me to say, my mom, who has never been to school, if you bring such a case to my mom, I'm sure my mom should be able to adjudicate this case and pronounce judgment, because the law is there. You have flouted the law. And so as far as I'm concerned, the law is in black and white. If you have flouted it, you don't need anybody to come from space to come and tell you that the Police Service Act, CI 76, you breach this portion, you breach that portion. Fortunately for one of them, COP, now interdicted Alex Mensah, he's a lawyer. And so you know what you go through to be called to the bar. So he has a fair appreciation of the law. So he knows that. And when they asked him whether do you admit if this is a serious political, controversy, you've indulged in a serious controversy, that you shouldn't be doing. He said yes. If you answer, he said no, I can't answer. He said he would want to be quiet on that. But my point is that we all heard him. We all heard them. And so mine is, and we are told that there are videos that are out there. I'm sure in the coming days, we might see some more videos. Who knows? Because subsequently, we've seen about 10 minutes tape of which, Asari, Super Asari was captured. Now you can add a face to the voice. All these things would add up to make the work of the police service, their inquiry team to adjudicate. I would say that if you ask me, seriously speaking, these officers don't have, their time in the police service is they've outlived it. And so if you ask me, I would say they should be sent home and then face the civilian court for criminal processes, if you ask me, from where I sit, because the laws are clear and you don't need anybody. Our laws are in English. And so if you have a fair appreciation of, if you are literate enough, you know that they have breached major portions of their own CI and a major portions of our own laws in Ghana.
Right. Dr. Bona, is the police service investigating the issues raised in the leaked tape? If it is not, what is the basis for this interdiction? My last question to you would be, what would be the consequences, particularly for COP Alex Mensah, if things go sour for him?
Well, the police service, I don't hold brief for them, but I believe that from someone who works within the space, this is very normal. When you remember a certain DCO Pete Mbela, when he was embroiled in recruitment scams, the police interdicted him eventually and even put him under house arrest.
Right.
Agodro was interdicted for alleged secret recording, which is in court. And so all these things, the police service must work with their service regulation. So you cannot work outside the service regulation. If the service regulation says if you are embroiled in any matter that you need to be investigated, they cannot investigate you once you are still in uniform. You heard them say in the release that we have seen, bring your service weapon, your vehicle, your badge, your this, your that. You know where if the last rank in terms of Ghana police is COP. If you have to go beyond that, these are appointments. These are appointments, deputy IGP, IGP. So as far as I'm concerned, that is it. Then the other one, sanctions. Depending, I don't want to prejudice anything, but you see, the sanctions could range between demotion to dismissal. But this would probably, if you ask me, I would say this will look very more like if they are convicted of whatever it is, dismissal, because it's a major offense that you can't. To subvert the will of the people is a major offense. To be embroiled in political controversy is a major offense. So looking at it, without prejudicing whatever is going to happen, I would say that I'm sure the punishment will be severe, and we will urge the Ghana Police Service to speedily put them through a service inquiry and let us know, because Ghanaians want to know. We are going into 2024, and we need to know what is going on. Thank you.
Dr. Adam Bona is a security analyst there. To some other subjects this afternoon, and infractions on the Accra-Tema motorway are persistent, and they're causing loss of lives and damage to property. The creation of illegal U-turns, parking cars along the shoulders of the road, and drivers' disregard to road signs are causing accidents on the N4. My colleague George Queening is there now. He's joining us for some updates on the happenings on the Accra-Tema motorway. George, thank you for joining us. Good afternoon to you. Can you paint a picture for us of the situation of the motorway now?
Okay, Crosby, thank you so much. Good afternoon, and we're coming to you live from the Accra-Tema motorway. And we want to bring to you the current state and outlook of the stretch, which was opened in the year 1965 by the first president of Sadipur, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. And I must admit that infractions on this very stretch are still persistent. And along the shoulders are squatters who actually in the activity try to cross the road and pass them. And so we look at the practice at the major consequence of what happens on this very stretch. And wherever I'm standing is the first stop when you're coming from Accra. And then there was this accident. And it's very, very difficult for all the routes to be accessible. So out of the system, all the routes are accessible now. So when you drivers like getting to such a trouble, the transport of traffic on that, the debris from the accident are yet to be cleared. And also, another problem here are the deep gullies and the potholes that have been created on the stretch. And so because of that, the transport expert says, if you're driving beyond 70 kilometers per hour, as opposed to what has been sanctioned, which is 100 kilometers per hour, you're doing that at your own risk, because these potholes are very deep. They are very deep. And so, during commence time, the stretch actually, has concrete under the asphalt. So you can actually see the concrete live on the ground. And so if you are driving on full speed and you're not aware of this very deep pothole, it might lead to an accident. So if you're driving beyond 70 kilometers, you have to be very cautious. And also, illegal U-turns have been created on the very stretch. I counted like 4 of them. And so if you are on 12 speed and you are not aware of the illegal U-turn, but bump into one person who is trying to get a U-turn on that very illegal road. So the infractions here are very terrible. Drivers don't adhere to the regulation. They park on the shoulder to go without any the government decision is to revamp the very stretch. Anything to go by, I'm sure motorists and even pedestrians would leave their side when that is actually done. We hope to see if it's feasible or it's even anytime soon.
George Queening, thank you so much. Join us in a subsequent bulletins, particularly on News 364, detailed report on the happenings on the Accra-Tema motorway. Away from that, following the withdrawal from the flag bearer race of the MPP by Alan Kyerematen, suggestions on what his next line of actions could be are coming in thick and fast, with some suggesting the former Trade and Industry Minister breaks away from the NPP to go independent or form his own political party to test his popularity. While the former aspiring MPP presidential candidate has made no indication as to whether or not he will break away from the party to run for president, there's been speculation that that option is being considered in the Alan camp. In the political terrain of the country, however, what are his chances as a kingmaker in the 2024 general elections, either as a member of the MPP or as an independent candidate? So let's speak with Dr. Hayford Ntia, a political science and public policy analyst, for some perspectives on this. Doc, thank you so much for your time with us on the program. Ghana has not had a political force to break the duopoly of the NPP and the NDC. Can Alan do that, and how can he do that?
Thank you for having me. Now, I believe strongly that politics shapes social network and individual identity. And Alan has been a key figure in the MPP for years. But Alan breaking away will not really impact the grassroots of the MPP party. Right? Most Ghanaians feel long-standing loyalty to one of the major parties, either NDC or MPP. And Ghanaians have realized that the minor party candidate can win. So they will not really waste their vote on any minor candidate. If Alan breaks out, technically he becomes a minor candidate. So Alan breaking out away can really divide the NPP top hierarchies, but I don't think it can really divide the grassroots. That's how it's going to be. And in my opinion, and the little research that I've done, if Alan should team up with the camp of Kennedy Japan, NPP will win the 2024 election, because it looks like Kennedy Japan is gathering momentum, and I'm very optimistic he will beat Dr. Bawumia to become the flag bearer of the NPP. So if Alan should team up with the camp of Kennedy Japan, I'm pretty sure NPP can break the 8.
Right. Doc, as we await on the former flag bearer of the party to announce his political future in the country, if something like that happens, that is talking about if he breaks away from the party, would it be Alan fulfilling a long-standing desire in his attempt to be president, or he would be aiming at getting back at the NPP over what he's describing, in other words, as some levels of unfair treatment?
I think if he should break out, his situation will turn out to be like that of Pakwesi Indom. He can't really make any impact. He can't affect the NPP party in any bigger way. He will probably end up ending his political career. So it will be better for him he stays in the party and team up with the winning candidate. That will really help him a lot. I don't know much about the constitution when it comes to the NPP and what the founding fathers decided, but whoever wins, and I'm very optimistic Kennedy Japan will win. If it's possible for Alan to become a vice presidential candidate for any of these two main candidates who are likely to win, it will be good for NPP, and I'm very optimistic they can break the 8.
Dr. Nsia, so if Alan is harboring the thought of breaking away from the NPP, that is, if he's doing that, you think would be he shooting himself in the foot?
Exactly. It will be a disaster for him. He will be forgotten. He will be forgotten. His social network and individual identity will be erased away.
Dr. Hayford, thank you so much for your time with us on the program. Dr. Hayford Nsia is a political science and a public policy analyst speaking with us there. Away from the future of Alan Kyerematen in or out of the NPP, the fate of healthcare workers at the Nima Polyclinic remains undecided as Viewasu East Assembly gives management of the facility up till September 15 to vacate the structure for a demolition exercise. My colleague Sarah Apenkro has been finding out more on the happenings there. Sarah, good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us. What have you been getting from the sources about the eviction notice? Unfortunately, we're having some challenges reaching Sarah Apenkro there. When we're able to reconnect with Sarah, will bring you that conversation, and that is in relation to the Nima Hospital there. But in the meantime, let's bring you some more stories on Midday Live, still relating to health, as the Health Minister, Kweku Agyeman-Manu, says the ministry is working to sign more bilateral agreements with countries to meet the need for nurses. Now, Ghana currently has such an agreement with Barbados, and the Health Minister says more of such agreements will streamline the migration of nurses and other health workers for the mutual benefit of Ghana and the host countries.
The brain drain matter is a pull and push factors. And one, somebody was talking about salaries are not very good. Those of us sitting here, including even me, Ghanaians, how many of us are satisfied and comfortable with our salaries? The opportunity is out there now. Before COVID, were we talking about brain drain of nurses? After COVID, there is a massive global health workforce shortage. So an opportunity has been created, and therefore those who are adventurous would like to take advantage of what opportunity is elsewhere. Government started managing migration in small quantities from Ghana to Barbados. We have sent 2 cohorts of 125 in the second instance to Barbados. There are other countries that are knocking at our doors to try to see if we can offload some of our nurses to them. That is why we said that we are working with the Ministry of Employment and Labor Ministry to see how we can manage migration, sign bilateral engagements, memorandum of understanding, such that those who like to go will go in a very diplomatic, defined, decent manner. And that is what we haven't completed. It takes some time to work on this. So health alone cannot do this because we don't have those who have the expertise in these managed migration issues. But so far as we have about 90 training colleges, that is minus the private sector ones, and the universities that are training nurses, we'll always have some good numbers of these nurses. So the new strategy is that why don't we engage those who need some of these nurses to see if you can hold their hands along like we did with Barbados for them to go and work and bring home money and bring home some expertise, some of that learning skills that they might have got from outside. But we are cognizant of the fact that we can't deplete our facilities with the most experienced ones. So we are looking at how we manage to keep those here and then see how best. Some can also go out and acquire some more training to come down to work with us. When we even haven't finished, some are going, but we are tracking those. The numbers are not that huge yet. On the last count, sometime last week, Ghana Health Service has lost about 1,400. And the charge people have lost close to about 600 or so. These are official numbers that we know of. Some are vacating, how do they call it in the labor? They are leaving without notice, right? And those ones, they are not very official until about a month or two when they have vacated their positions that we record them.
Well, once again, we're facing the issues of brain drain. Perpetual Furiampofor is president of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association. She's joining us to offer some perspectives on the comments by the health minister. Perpetual, thank you for joining us. Good afternoon to you. The health minister says government is looking at more bilateral agreements to export nurses. Now, the one with Barbados as the most recent, how will you assess the benefits and the impact of that agreement?
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to you and your listeners. Indeed, when we talk about bilateral agreements, the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, with its members as nurses and midwives, believes that if members have to travel abroad, it is the safest and surest way of getting them to work in other jurisdictions. We are very much aware of the Barbados agreements, through which two cohorts have already migrated to Barbados. And we know there are other agreements that are still on table and are being worked on. However, we are also faced with the daily emigration of our colleagues who are leaving the shores of Ghana from various regions in the country. And they are leaving the country for various reasons. But the most important of it all is that they complain that the salaries they receive and the conditions of service under which they work is not the best. And I must tell you the fact that those who have already left, I mean those who left earlier in the years before 2023, have friends, they have families, they have colleagues, and they talk to them. And they let them understand that, okay, I'm working here. This is the amount of money I'm receiving every 2 weeks or at the end of every month. And these are the kinds of things that are also motivating others to leave. Because the truth of the matter is that our salaries in Ghana as nurses and midwives are not the best. But I also know that it's not only Ghana, within the sub-region and within Africa as a whole, it's not the best. So this issue about the movement of nurses from Ghana is actually not affecting only Ghana. Go to Nigeria, go to Ivory Coast, go to other countries. They are leaving. They are leaving, and it's all because the salaries and other conditions of work are not the best. Nurses complain that they see that they are not valued. You work in a certain area and you think that you have what it takes to contribute to the care of the patient, and yet maybe your input is not really valued,
right,
or the kind of qualification you have because you did not take state leave to go do that program, it is not valued.
Professor, let's talk about the issue of motivation.
Yeah.
So Kwekwadwo Menu says the situation of health workers leaving has not reached crisis levels yet, but he says government is doing its best to ensure those who remain here are motivated. Based on the challenges you're enumerating for us, what more can government do to ensure the motivation of these health workers reach some peak levels?
Okay, before I talk about the motivation, let me comment on what he had said concerning the fact that it is not raising crisis. Then maybe he's not touching base with the health system. It is indeed a big problem, and the reports we are having from our colleagues is that they are burning, themselves out in terms of the work that they are doing. If you move to health facilities, especially the regional hospitals, and you go to the district facilities, especially where you have specialized units like emergency critical care units, the medical wards, the surgical wards, that is where you see the impact. And they are leaving, and it is causing a lot of problems in terms of burnout for those who are there and they are working, and it causes a lot of delays in terms of patient care and results in the decrease in the quality of services that can be given to ordinary Ghanaians who go to the hospitals. So if we are looking on and think that it is not a problem, the fact that they are leaving is not a problem, then we are making a big mistake.
Right.
Because let me tell you, those that are leaving are not just those who have entered the system and have worked for months or for 1 year or 2 years. These are people who have years of experience.
Right.
Those that are in the position to also mentor the new ones that are coming in. And indeed, we have thousands of our colleagues who are also languishing at home and waiting to be employed. When you take the 2020 batch, we have those who did diploma and degree programs, over 17,000 of them. And those who did the nurse assistant clinical and nurse assistant preventive, we have over 6,000 of them who are waiting to be employed.
Right.
We have the 2021 batch who have just finished internship. So all that we are saying as a union that holds the collective agreement covering all these nurses and midwives in this country is that the Ministry of Health and all other stakeholders have a responsibility.
Right.
The truth of the matter is that salaries are not the best. The single spine does not offer us decent salaries that we can have decent
Thank
living.
you so much for joining us on the program. We're speaking with Perpetual Foyempo, who is the General Secretary of the Nurses and Midwives Association of the country. He's the President of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association. Let's go back to an earlier story. Still in the health arena, as the fate of health workers at the Nima Polyclinic, it remains undecided, as the Ayawa East Assembly gives management of the facility up to September 15 to vacate the structure for a demolition exercise. My colleague Sarah Penkro has been finding out more on what the situation is in the area. Sarah, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. If you can hear me, what have you been gleaming from your sources about this eviction notice?
Hello, Crosby. Like you rightly said, I have been to the Ayawaso East district where the Nima Polyclinic is actually situated. I have been engaging with the MCE, Madam Salma Adams, who tells me it's indeed true. On the 15th of this month, that's few days from now, most parts of the facility would be demolished for the Agenda 111 project, which has been earmarked in the district. With the exception of the two newly built two-story building facility where the OPD would be operating from. So according to the MCE, the facility will be operating while the project is built around it. The district hospital earmarked for the Agenda 111 in the Ayawaso East district. There's been mixed reaction among the populace, actually. Some are happy that a bigger facility is going to be built, but they are a little skeptic considering what is currently happening at La General. So they are hoping that what the MCE has said, assuring them that the facility would be built right on time for them to have their facility to go and have the medical attention they need, is the truth. And then it would be broken down and left for years to come without it being built for them. So the MCA has confirmed this. So on the 15th, the whole place, with the exception of the two-story building, would be demolished, and the Agenda 111 project would begin.
Sarah, just a few particularly the patients, if they have any there?
Well, management of the facility are not willing to speak on camera, but information I have gathered is that they are still in discussion with the Ghana Health Service to know what would happen to the staff who are working at that part of the facility where they will be taken to. So as of now,
and the fate
of those staff in the facility has not been decided yet. We would have to follow up to the Ghana Health Service to find out what happened to the other staff who would not be working at the facility, considering it's only a small portion of it that would be functional.
Okay. Sarah, the Nima Polyclinic itself, what is its capacity? We're talking about the number of patients that visit the place on a regular basis, and how important is it in the enclave that it finds itself?
Because you know, Nima is one of the densely populated communities within the Greater Accra Metropolitan Assembly. And so the Nima Polyclinic, it was actually not a bigger facility. It's now that the Assembly is trying to expand it and they were building structures around it. So currently they have just about 10 to 12 bed capacity, I am told. I have not been able to ascertain it because I haven't been able to have access into the facility. But the Assembly tells me that the new district hospital will give them an 80-bed capacity, which will serve the people better.
Sarah, thank you so much. Sarah Penkro is my colleague following up on the eviction notice to the Nima Polyclinic. Stay with us, he'll bring you details in the subsequent bulletins. But you're watching Midday Live on TV3. My name is Noble Crosby, and we're back with more stories after the break. Stay with us.
This week on Today's Woman, our guest is Mrs. Joan Quay Mensah. She's thrived in the real estate industry over the last 5 years and is still thriving.
People think the way the economy is, real estate is going to slow down. But trust me, people are buying properties, people are renting, and real estate is not slowing down anytime soon.
She's here to teach us many lessons, especially when it comes to buying properties off-plan. But first off, Joan, off-plan. What does that mean?
It means acquiring the property before it's built. You get to get the property at a lower rate.
Lower rate. Don't miss Today's Woman this Saturday, 3 p.m. right here on TV3. My name is Cookie. See you on Saturday.
Today's Woman with Cookie T shows Saturdays at 3 p.m. on TV3. Brought to you by Latex Foam. Vlisco.
Gonna be a very, very influencing episode on Here to Win. Busting your brains, wow.
I want to cry.
What was Logan Cavelli's favorite subject in secondary school? The Kisi, the Meru, the Kiyuyu are which tribes in which Malawi? Ivory Coast is the east coast of Ghana. True or false? True. Hey, yeah, one. Hey, yeah, one.
Here to Win shows Saturdays at 8 p.m. on TV3. Brought to you by Kill It Insecticide Spray.
Gino Tomato Mix.
Get ready for another cultural explosion like never before. On 21st September, Africa will witness an ultimate celebration of African diversity and flavor at the 3FM Afro Connect event. This is the place to experience the magic of African arts and creativity. You also get to unite in a sizzling jollof war competition, igniting a culinary showdown. Will Cote d'Ivoire hold the Jollof War title? So whether you're passionate about food, art games, or simply making new connections, 3FM's Afro Connect event on the 21st of September is the place to be. Venue, Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park. To sell, call 053-220-0927. 3FM Afro Connect, connecting Africa and beyond. Brought to you by 3FM 92.7, your urban lifestyle radio.
The 3FM Afro Connect is proudly sponsored by
it, don't do it. Please stop it, stop it. No.
I poisoned him. I poisoned him.
I'm a dragon.
The difference between a sinner and a saint is that the saint has a past and the sinner a future. There is a shoulder that does not discriminate, an ear that listens without a mouth, and a heart that listens with empathy. Here on Confessions, we believe that everyone has a story, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And together with my seasoned guest, we make the conversation relevant for our lives today and the lessons therein. Confessions, the safe haven for all your secrets.
Confessions shows on Saturdays at 9:30 p.m. on TV3.
Brought to you by
MTN.
Welcome back to the broadcast. Let's touch base with Manu Afo for some business news. Over to you, Manu.
Thank you very much, Cosby. Welcome again to the business segment with me, Manu Afo. In our first story, the 2026 deadline set for ECOWAS member countries to meet all the convergence criteria for the launch of the ECO seem to be unrealistic, as member countries consistently fail to meet all 4 primary convergence criteria over the period. At the opening of the 46th Joint Ordinary Meeting of the Technical Committees of the West African Monetary Agency, Director General of WAMA, Mobodu Bamba Saho, called for a review of strategies and reforms to ensure member states align and overcome the challenges.
At the end of December 2022, no member state met all 4 primary convergence criteria. 4 member states, Benin, Niger, Guinea, and Liberia, complied with at least 3 primary convergence criteria. In summary, while we have made progress in certain areas, there is a clear need for enhanced strategies and reforms to ensure that all member states align with our shared goals. Together, we can navigate these challenges and lay the foundation for a prosperous ECOWAS. As we review the Director General's progress report for the first half of 2023, we will gather deeper insights into our achievements and the road ahead.
In more stories, banking consultant Dr. Richmond Etiahene has described as long overdue the efforts to rescue the struggling National Investment Bank. These remarks come in response to reports of the government's intentions to facilitate ADB's takeover of NIB.
Discussions regarding the merger of Agricultural Development Bank ADB and the National Investment Bank NIB have been ongoing since 2018. However, these discussions faced obstacles, including strong opposition from ADB's labor union. Recently, these merger talks have resurfaced, with reports suggesting that the government is considering a plan for ADB to assume control of NIB's operations. This decision arises from the necessity to restructure NIB, a state-owned institution that has encountered numerous challenges in recent years. Banking consultant Dr. Richmond Etiahene has expressed his belief that this intervention should have been initiated much earlier.
The ADB case and the NIB case it didn't come yesterday. I mean, even 2017, when I did a paper on these banks, you could see that NIB was struggling, and it's been struggling. And I would have thought that we shouldn't have waited for this DDEP to come before we could have taken a decision. The reason why is that they have challenges all over the place. We could have taken a decision on it in 2020. Either we sold it off, or we allow somebody to take it over, or merge.
Nonetheless, he does harbor concerns about ADB's financial stability, question whether it is in a suitable financial position to take over NIB.
At the current position, for where I sit, I don't think the banks, the local banks, are strong enough, especially the ADB, is strong enough to be able to merge with NIB. And the difficulty with NIB is that NIB is an industrial bank, and ADB in its own sense is supposed to be a great bank. So I don't see the synergistic effect, right? We call it strategic fit. If you look at their portfolio, do they fit into ADB portfolio? That is even another one.
Let's now shift your attention to pension funds as Labour consultant Austin Game has expressed concern over the extent of abuse of pension funds in Ghana. He is calling on contributors to take an interest in management of their pension funds.
I feel troubled when I hear about pensions in Ghana here because of the extent of abuse of the pension contribution of the working people, especially these few days when we are confronted with even these haircuts. These have taken control over the SNIT contribution and use it the way they like. They must stop. They must take their hands off the SNIT money. SNIT money is not government money. We must have people who are committed, whose integrity is impeccable, and whose investment capabilities and thinking outside the box is impeccable. And they must sit on that board. And we must demand a strategic plan that they have for the investment. We must demand the return on the investment, and it must be done without default.
And away from that, President of the African Development Bank, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, says the bank is currently investing up to $20 billion into solar energy in the Sahara Desert to generate power for up to 250 million people on the continent. The AFDB, which has been instrumental in providing funding for the continent's climate fights, says the investments will prove critical in elevating African economies. He's been speaking at the ongoing African Climate Summit.
Africa must develop with what it has, not what it does not have. Africa is blessed with large sources of renewable energy in the world. Renewables from solar, hydro, wind, and geothermal. But we cannot power Africa with potential. We must fully unlock Africa's renewable energy potential. That's why the African Development Bank is implementing a $20 billion Desert to Power program to harness the power of solar and deliver electricity for 250 million people. We must power every home, every school, every hospital, and provide stable, affordable, and reliable power. But we must, Your Excellencies, be pragmatic. Africa must use its natural gas and combine it with renewable resources. The International Energy Agency's analysis shows that doing so would only add 0.5% to global emissions. Give us space to grow.
And that brings us to the end of the business segment on Midday Live. My name is Minu Afo. We have the latest from the world of sports coming up after the break. Stay with us.
Get ready for another cultural explosion like never before. On 21st September, Africa will witness an ultimate celebration of African diversity and flavor at the 3FM Afro Connect event. This is the place to experience the magic of African arts and creativity. You also get to unite in a sizzling Jollof War competition, igniting a culinary showdown. Will Cote d'Ivoire hold the Jollof War title? So whether you're passionate about food, art, games, or simply making new connections, 3FM Afro Connect event on the 21st of September is the place to be. Venue, Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park. To sell, call 053-220-0927. 3FM Afro Connect, connecting Africa and beyond.
Brought to you by 3FM 92.7, your urban lifestyle radio. The 3FM Afro Connect is proudly sponsored by
You
are a major stakeholder in nation building. Your voice matters. Start your day with us.
We simplify the conversations, break down the jargons and technicalities. We keep you well informed throughout the week. Start your day with us.
We give the leaders the mandate to govern our affairs. We have a responsibility to hold them to account. It begins here. Start your day with us. Good morning, Ghana, Africa, and the rest of the wonderful world. Welcome to Sunrise on 3FM 92.7.
Start your day well informed. Start with us on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Catch the Sunrise Morning Show with me, Johnny Hughes, Helena Piampofo, and William Asiedu. Weekdays from 5:55 a.m. to 10 a.m. only on 3FM 92.7. Your urban lifestyle radio.
I'm a hero from zero to hero.
Many with great voices have taken their chance on the biggest music reality show on screen.
Rap na kasa be my career.
Some stood out with their lyrical abilities and style. Mentor is back. The search is on. Who becomes the next winner? Mentor, the world awaits you.
Hello. It is essential that in life you see yourself reflected in the stories of others. As a little girl growing up, I had always wanted to have a voice. One that would not only be heard, but would be seen and would be felt. So I asked myself, what if I could take every story that's ever inspired me, every song I've ever danced to, in fact, all the memorable moments on this show, and share them with you. NELIA. No, that's good. Who needs to step up? Designers.
Designers-wise, our local tailors. What's going on?
I know it's now. Which one? You go kill me. Hey. So you know what my priority is? Making you happy, entertained, educated, and informed. My name is Bella Mundi, and this is The Day Show. Catch all the exciting episodes right here on TV3. Oh, this is going to be so much fun.
The Day Show, Sundays at 3 p.m. on TV3.
This program is sponsored by Onga.
Welcome back to the program. Well, as you may be aware, it's a big day for the Black Stars. They're getting ready to play their final 2023 AFCON qualifier. Ulrich Kwampofo has the details in sport. Over to you, Ulrich.
Well, thank you very much, Crosby. And we head to Kumasi because they are ready for the Black Stars as they are getting ready to play their final 2023 African Cup of Nations qualifier against Central African Republic. Ghana currently lead Group E with 9 points and only need a draw to qualify for the tournament in Ivory Coast next January. With Andre Ayew expected not to start this afternoon, his brother Jordan Ayew is poised to lead the team in the absence of Thomas Partey and Daniel Amate. The match kicks off at 4 p.m. at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. We now head straight to Zoom and reconnect with Thierry Nyan, who joined us in the morning, and he'll be bringing us updates from the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. He's currently stationed outside the stadium with some fans. Thierry, if you can hear me, what's the mood like ahead of the game?
In a crucial encounter, as they hope to get that all-important points, or possibly even all 3 points, to get into the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations. It is really, really important for the Black Stars. And as crucial as this is, the fans here in Kumasi have also taken it seriously. And they are beginning to trooping one after the other to make sure they fill the stadium if they can and, support the Black Stars, when the kickoff begins. But of course, we are here to speak to some of the fans and get their impressions of what this week has been, with the Black Stars being here for the last few days and also maybe what they've observed in training and what they expect. What's your name?
My name is Mahmoud Issa.
Mahmoud Issa, what are you expecting of the Black Stars today?
Oh, Black Stars will win 2-0.
The Black Stars is winning?
2-0.
2-0?
Yeah.
What gives you the impression that they can?
Oh, Black Stars will win.
Black Stars will win?
Yeah.
All right, let me speak to another person. What's your name, please?
Please, my name is Bismarck Arthur.
Bismarck Arthur?
Yes.
Where are you from?
I'm from Obuasi.
So you are here to support the Black Stars?
Yes, please.
And you have high expectations?
Very high, because as it has been over the years, that anytime Black Stars is having a crucial match, it tends to be like it will be in Kumasi. And wherever it is in Kumasi, because of the Asante spirit, no matter how they perform, definitely we come out with victory. And so I'm certain that today too, it will not be of exception. I'm hoping for a 3-0.
A 3-0 victory?
Yes. For
who are scoring the goals?
Definitely, for me, Kudus is obvious for me. Kudus is obvious. I'm expecting 2 from him, actually. And then any other person that added 1. But for me, Kudus will surely win.
Kudus is getting 2 goals, according to Arthur. But let's speak to, a fan who is not from Ghana, and he is not, supporting Ghana. As you can see, the flag is here. He's from Central African Republic. What's your name?
Amos Bina.
Amos?
Yes.
So do you live here in Ghana?
Yes. I'm living in Ghana.
But you are from CAR?
Yes, please.
And it's a good opportunity to support your own?
Yes, it's good opportunity to support my own, because it's our national team.
And do you think you stand a chance against Ghana?
Yeah, we think, but the match will be difficult for us because Ghana play at home. That is the problem. But we're gonna play the real football against Ghana.
What is real football? What matters is the result. At this point, we need 1 point to qualify. Do you think you can stop Ghana?
It is possible because it's football. Football, if you play the good ball, we can score you. Because like the match, it be like the final. If you win, we go to the AFCON. If Ghana win, Ghana go to the AFCON. That's why.
I can bet your Bible there. All we need is a draw, and we'll get that points from you. But of course, reporting from the Baba Yara Sports Stadium has been so far electrifying, to say the least, because the buzz is beginning to increase. The crescendo is leveling up, and we are hoping to get what will be the lineup. But I can probably maybe just speak to what we should expect. Atiziki will be in post, as we expect. He's been number 1 for the Black Stars for a while, and we expect Gideon Mensah, to be deputizing Baba Rahman, who also trained, even though he, picked up an injury, days before this particular call-up. We're also looking, to see the likes of Jiku in there at the back of, the defense. And in midfield, Salis would definitely be one of the men there. In the absence of Thomas Partey, he would provide the steal alongside Edmond Addo, if any of the selection that we saw in training is anything to go by. Mohamed Kudus, and then any of the Ayew brothers, and you have more confidence in Jordan starting instead of Andre. My name is Thierry Nyan, reporting from the Baba Yara Sports Stadium here in Kumasi for 3 Sports.
Well, thank you very much, Thierry. Just a reminder that the match is today at 4 p.m. at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. And that's the note on which we wrap up the sports segment here on Midday Live. If you want some more updates in the build-up to the game, you can follow us on social media at 3SportsGH. We have some really nice and cool videos for you to catch up on as we await the big game at 4 p.m. And up next on Midday Live is Entertainment with Noella.
Well, a lot of things are happening on the entertainment front. Let's get to the details from Noella Donko. Noella, over to you.
Thank you so much, Crosby. Let's get into the details of some entertainment here on Midday Live. My name is Noella Donko. Now, versatile Ghanaian singer and case crooner, Mr. Drew, says he would have gone into acting if he had not done music. Now, he told Owusu Orai he's open to be casted for roles and is looking forward to offers from producers. Which roles will Mr. Drew be comfortable playing? We're yet to find out.
Hustle for the paper. Small boy, they hustle, then somebody want to let down.
If you had not done music, what would you have
done acting, yeah, because I studied theater in school, so I would have gone into acting.
Have you done some movies already?
No, I haven't, but probably I will. let's see how things go.
Something you're looking forward to?
Yeah.
What are you telling me?
See Mr. Drew in a movie or two.
Yeah, the producers, they're listening. So what are you telling them?
I mean, I'm open. I'm open to being in movies, series, whatever it is. I mean, I'm open to it.
I know it's a big business as well, just like music, and people also have their rates. Is Mr. Drew very expensive to have in a movie project?
I haven't done one before, but obviously it will be expensive because we have a career that's already doing well. So if you're gonna have Mr. Drew on your movie, like in your movie, then you would have to have a different conversation from, anybody else. So yeah, that's just it.
Let's talk about movie roles. Which of them will you be very comfortable playing?
I could play anything. I could play anything. Lover boy, oh boy, everything.
Playing a gangster.
Everything. We go do everything.
It will definitely be interesting to see Mr. Drew in a movie. But still on Mr. Drew, the musician says he sees nothing wrong with the look-alike craze. Now, he is of the opinion that people should not be allowed to do what they want, especially with the look-alike thing. And the well-loved musician, however, feels it will be unfair for any event organizer to engage their look-alike to perform their songs.
I think it was in the news some time ago, and we heard from some of the artists.
You people dog them. You people for support.
What was your reaction when you saw your look-alike?
I mean, I was cool with it. I'd seen him, but I never really paid attention. Yeah, he was at my concert last year, Sele concert last year. But I never paid attention. He came on stage, took a picture with me, and today I think that's his DP, is his profile picture everywhere. And so yeah, I'm calm with it. I'm cool.
Something you endorse. Before it's okay, people should be allowed to do what they want and what they love.
I mean, if somebody wants to shave their head and look like Mr. Drew, I know. I feel like the people even know that, oh, it's just a face, it's just that will pass by. But then for anybody in the industry, they will know that, nah, we have bigger things to actually be thinking about. Like, there's a whole, Afrobeat race, about African music and who's pioneering it and who's leading it and whether our music is good enough.
What are your thoughts on that conversation?
Our music is good, trust me. Big shout out to every Ghanaian artist out there. Our music is good and it's amazing. We're doing our best. Yeah.
Finally, how would you feel if your look-alike goes around performing your song? What would be your reaction?
I don't think that would be possible. No, I don't think any event organizer would do that. I don't think so. It won't happen.
What will you do?
It won't happen. I don't think any serious event organizer would do that. Nah.
Now, talking about the Ghana-Niger Afrobeat craze, Ghanaian singer, songwriter and record producer Rocky Dawuni has come to the defense of his colleague musicians in the heat of the Ghana-Nigerian comparisons. Now, the three-time Grammy Award nominee says filling the O2 Arena is not a yardstick to measure the success of an artist. Now, we're doing so well as musicians in other areas, and I do not think it is right to use O2 Arena, which is just one country, to judge how good our musicians are. It is not even proper to compare musicians to our Nigerian brothers because we are unique in our own way. Nigerians have the support and the investment, and if we get same, filling that place will not be a big deal, he said. According to Rocky Dawuni, Ghanaian musicians have mounted some of the biggest stages across the world and are doing so well out there. Well, that's it for entertainment here on Midday Live. My name is Noella Donko. Up next is international news.
In news outside the Ghanaian border this afternoon, Gabon's military leaders say they have freed deposed President Ali Bongo from house arrest, where he has been since the ceasefire last week. This includes permission to travel abroad for medical checkups. He suffered a stroke in 2018 and his health was a major source of concern for many in the build-up to the 2023 presidential election. In a communique read on State TV on Wednesday evening, military spokesperson Colonel Monfombi said the decision to free Mr. Bongo was due to his state of health. Bongo had been in power in the oil-rich country since 2009 when he succeeded his father, who had ruled the country for 41 years. The army seized power shortly after he had been declared the winner of that election disputed by the opposition. That's how we wrap up on Midday Live this afternoon, but there's always more news on our website, 3news.com. My name is Noble Crosby, and on behalf of the entire production team, thank you so much for watching the bulletin. We'll see you again some other time. Good afternoon. Bye-bye.